Hey, y'all, Sway. All right, I want to talk about this little topic: NPCs. You've likely heard of it. It uses the video game analogy, non-playable character, um, in reference to basically people in the world that you see, and proposes that they're just that they're like not real. They don't have a soul or something. That they're just a um, part of the manifestation of your projection. They're just like filling in space, basically. Um, Another way of looking at it is like the Matrix. And I think this is actually a little bit better of a way to look at it if you're gonna kind of flow with that. Is they're essentially serving the system in the Matrix. Now, I'd say about 99.99999% of the people that you know, it's a more or less degrees fall into that category. They're serving the system of the Matrix. They're confined within that. Even if they talk with you about spiritual concepts and things of that nature and are kind of interested in certain things, they're still living and sucked into that system. That's all that's all they believe is real. That's real. That's what's important. That's where the juice pulls them in that regards. There's not really any other cognitive ability, desire, and it really comes to the will and desire is what it boils down to even fight that system. This is because this is what's deemed important, what has value, what's worshipped in that sense. All right. So is it helpful to look at somebody as that? Absolutely not. That is a huge limitation. That's a huge limitation on your part to project that onto somebody else, because it's also limiting the power of your perceptual capacity, of your magnitude, to actually be miracle minded in that sense, and to have the ability to interact with all beings on a compassionate level and have the capacity to essentially pull them out of that without. And that's not like, when I say that, that's not like going around trying to like speak, hey, do you know you're living in this blah, 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 speak spiritual concepts and all this nonsense. No, no, no. It can just very much be like seeming to be coming from that paradigm within the Matrix, but it's that loving, compassionate interaction. And if you're developing the potential to look at somebody as just an NPC, as a non-playable character, I would say this is a very, very, very negative way of being, and a very subtle violation of the system to try to get you to be okay with your brothers and sisters suffering and essentially ignore them in a way that you've deemed appropriate. Now, if you can't see how that's not a good thing, then I don't know what to say to you, because you're an NPC. So again, and this is why, if you look at any master, what any of the masters, great teachers, avatars, enlightened beings, what they've taught, have any of them really ever discoursed on this subject? No, they have not. They've all went to different people from different walks of life and pulled them out of their story, of their negativity, their trauma, their identification within the Matrix, within that paradigm, and allowed them to step into that spiritual life, the life that actually is, to move towards reality in one way or another. So I do not, and I've heard, again, going back to the way I first referenced it, there's plenty of people that come into spiritual understandings and they get sucked back into it. They get like back to the Matrix kind of analogy. They get sucked back into it and have the capacity to be what is it, like an Agent Smith? I think that's a better analogy, like the Agent Smith, Mr. Anderson. It's like, you can see how anybody can quickly, if they're not super conscious and aware and stable within their self, they can become that presence. They can, defend that system and like come at you with that. And that's, yeah, but then if you don't have the capacity to hold and stabilize and lovingly, be with them in that way, then essentially you just become Mr. Smith. You get sucked into that too. If you're trying to fight that, then you become that, right? And so then you're back playing the game with the NPC. You're stuck in the game in the matrix, and you don't even realize it. You think you're out of it, think you're better than it, but you're still just in it, Chief. And so this is why it's not a very intelligent understanding. At a certain point, yeah, you can see that, yeah, you recognize that, but what is the real course of action to take in that? And it's always that forgiveness, that loving awareness, that compassionate holding of seeing that, not it coming from a place of like, you're better than, or like, oh my God, this person's so lost, but it's just holding that space and allowing them, that true empathy. This is where A Course in Miracles rocks it out and really, kills it, because it's what's required is that level of forgiveness, is holding, that miracle mindedness of love and connection, and that they're safe and sound in their source connection. Not that they're, just caught in their little, matrix bubble, that they're a lost NPC with no soul, but actually that they're so safe and protected in the love and presence and source connection with God, that all you need to do is see through this presentation, because that's not them. That is the bullshit of the system. That is the Agent Smith trying to come in and take over. And as Christ said, you have the authority to cast out demons, to cast that out. You can cast that out. All you have to do, if you actually get to a place in your connection and your magnitude, you'll find all you have to do is just look on that. If you just look that in the eyes, it cannot stand. It cannot stand and confront what is the truth of you and it. What is its essence in truth, in love, in source. That you're one. And when you stand there with that, it cannot stand, because it has no reality to stand in other than you joining in that paradigm, in that system with it. So that's the whole don't buy into your brother's dream. Right? And if you're still labeling and looking at people like this, then you're just creating a new level of the dream, right? And you're like at this little space above in the dream that's like, oh, okay, I'm good now. But not really, you're just setting yourself up it's like the next level in the game, cool, you're still there. You want to pretend you're out of it, but you're not, right? And so that's always that love and forgiveness, and holding that in that space and in your heart is always of the highest, always, right? So don't become an NPC by projecting NPCs out there. Don't do it. Don't play that game. All right? You're the one. You're the one. We're the one. We stand as one. In truth, in love. In truth, we're all back home in Zion, and it's not some little cavern underground that's horrible. Brilliance. So sharing that, be that love, be that source connection, be the miracle, share the miracle. You are these things, and greater you shall do. Don't forget that. I love you. Peace and love. Thank you. Bye.